Good morning. Well, I logged in to a bit of a surprise today to find that version 1.95 had rolled out. And interestingly enough, one of the top callouts on there in the autopilot control was something that my last two videos addressed: oscillation. And it was pitch oscillation. So kind of interesting that I get called out in the comment for it being my fault. I prove that it's not my fault. A patch comes out applying the very fix that I was looking for. So this one's going to be a little quicker. I'm just going to recreate the same flight from Narita over to Tokyo. Fly around, do everything the same. I'll actually attempt to make a landing, but the main point is we'll climb up to 6,000 feet and we'll drop the plane back down to 4,000 and see if we can kick the oscillation in. It didn't say it was totally resolved, it just said it was reduced, and I know that as autopilot's correct, there may be a little bit of oscillation, but the system in a lot of these fancier planes is supposed to be intelligent enough to correct some of that behavior, because planes fly smoothly even in a lot of situations. So let's dive in and see what happens.
Departure runway 34 left.
Okie dokie. There also supposedly was a fix to the VFR map, so hopefully that thing won't freeze on me all the time here. Oops. Alright, let's get this thing set to my 4,000. Let's get nav on. Let's get... I don't think there's anything else I need really at the moment. We'll get you set up for a leisurely climb. Alright, so we're going to hit my altitude and then we're going to roll around. Now, I think that is everything that I need to worry about here. Yep. Alright, so let's see if we can get this thing off the ground without totally crashing. Ooh, looks like I need to adjust my stick zone a bit. That might be why I'm under propeller. Let's go to my minus 90 citation. See if I crash anyway. I'm expecting to, because it doesn't mention any fixes with handling. So, alright, let's throttle this sucker up. Okay. I hate being so zoomed in, but it's the only way I can really see the engine output. I like the arcade style percentage of throttle. It just makes life a little easier here. Okay, no, why do you always bank like a crazy man? Gentle, gentle does it. Wah, crazy. Going crazy. Okay, we're gonna pull the throttles back.
Contact Tokyo departure on ONE 25.525. Going to ONE 25.525 Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
Up a little insanely here because of
Sierra X-ray Golf
autopilot.
Sierra is at 3,100 feet, climbing 4,000 feet.
Alright, time to throttle this sucker down.
Tokyo departure. Continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Okay, throttles are almost where I need them to be. Now I can't really turn properly because I don't have a functioning rudder. Well, I can make a left turn, but it's... Ooh, yeah, rudder is not working great. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to try to get this thing back on course. You can see my speed's doing alright. Controls are a little smoother now. I'm tending to go up a little bit here. Oof, I need to weaken the elevators a little bit. Oof. Those things engage a wee bit fast there. Alright, so we're on track, we're airborne, we're good. Let's kick on autopilot. Hello, Mr. Autopilot.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra, you are 300 feet above your
Okay.
assigned altitude.
Yeah.
Maintain 4,000 feet altimeter 29.902.
Yeah, I know. Alright,
Descend and
so
maintain 4,000 feet Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
you can see the plane is a little bit more stable on the pitch aspect. The roll, still a little bit jerky, but yeah, like that. That's what seems odd to me. Like the plane wouldn't make that micro correction and then jerk right back. It would be a little bit of a smoother action. So it shouldn't really be that there's this massive wind issue here. I always seem to run issues with wind. Let's click the wind layer. Sorry. Speed 0. Frequency every 60 seconds. Speed none. Delete the layer. Now, I don't know if that means I'm going to have global wind. It never seems to actually get rid of the wind. As you can see, the plane is still jerking and pitching, so the roll aspect is not done. What I'm going to do now, if I can grab the control, is jump us up to the 6,000. Actually, I think I went to 6,500 last time. Ooh, whoa, why did I put that back? 65. There we go. Let's get up there. We'll need a little bit of throttle here. Pull out of the plane real quick just to make my life a bit easier. We're going to, there's a little bit of an oscillation there. Our speed was only in the 240 knot range, 230, 240 knots, so it really wasn't going too fast. Throttling up now seems to have stabilized it a little bit, as well as the system hitting its vertical climb rate. So I'm going to bring this thing back up to the high speed that we used last time. We're almost there, coming up at 300 knots. Let's back it off just a little bit here. We're hitting the altitude, so I'm going to need to slow it down. Alright, so you can see where we are. Okay. So I'm going to come here. We're going to hit vertical speed. And we are going to drop the sucker down. Let's throttle back so we don't cause overspeed, but I want to try and maintain that. So you can see we've got the oscillation again. It's certainly not as bad as it was. We are still riding pretty high on the same speed. Yeah, it seems to be smoothing itself out. That's what I would expect. So you'd get a little bit of an oscillation. I still don't know if I agree with the way it's handling it, but at least it corrected itself once it got going on track. My speed's still pretty high up there. We're coming down pretty quick. So this is definitely a drop, but this is similar to what I did in the previous one. So we should start leveling off now. I'll need to throttle back up to maintain my speed.
You are 20 miles east. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS Yankee runway 34 right approach via Kaiho transitions. Cleared to
Yep.
Kaiho.
Got it. Not a problem.
Maintain present
Alright,
heading
we're
and
leveling
altitude.
off.
Expect ILS Yankee runway 34 right approach via Kaiho transition. Cleared to Kaiho Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
Too much thrust, too much thrust. Cut that, cut that. So these rolls are getting really crazy because I deleted the wind layer, so there technically shouldn't be any wind. And if that's the case, then why is the plane rocking and rolling all over the place in these corrections? If I was in a storm, this would make a little bit more sense because I'd be hitting a lot of turbulence, but I'm not. I deleted the wind layer. Sure, maybe the game is processing some thermals or some other things that are going on, but I shouldn't be going absolutely nuts here, bouncing all over the place. That is what does not make sense to me in this, and there shouldn't need to be this many corrections for it to fly on a straight line. I mean, planes do this all the time, and they don't rock and roll like this when it's calm out. That's why I deleted the wind layer, because again, I'm just trying to show what's going on. And you can see here, I believe this is my wind. I can't recall.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra contact Tokyo approach on 119.
I could be wrong. I thought that was my wind. Yeah, that might be my compass. Not my compass. Correction to something. Don't quote me on that one. I forget. I'm just gonna say I'm ignorant of that one. But I thought there was a wind gauge in here somewhere. All right. Wow. Get rid of you. Which one of you is my zoom out on the map? Not you. I think it's this one. Nope, that's zoom in. Always get that backwards. No, that is not the button I wanted. I didn't want to click you, I just wanted to roll you. There we go. So we're coming up on my turn and we'll head in here pretty shortly. Which is good. So far, things have been fairly stable. We have 0 oscillation, so it does look like they corrected that problem, which is good. And I'm flying the exact same way. I'm doing nothing different this time. I'm still going to crash and die because the plane is really uncontrollable due to the sensitivity issues. Oh, and there shouldn't... See, I think that is the wind gauge because it went hard to an angle when the plane started bouncing, and it seems like the plane is trying to counter what it's flying through. Anyway, that's a different video. Yes, I do. It's right in front of me. So we're going to try to come around here. We're going to attempt to make a landing. I have 0 faith in my ability to do it. Again, the sensitivity is jacked up. It probably is going to be worth it because it doesn't seem like Microsoft gives 2 bleeps about fixing rudder, fixing any of these other issues for us controller players to actually play the game properly. So I'll probably go in and mess with the config files and see if I can get something set up that's a little more functional for this plane, and then because each plane should have its own config file, it's going to take a while to go through and play with it. But the TBM, for the most part, and the smaller Cessnas and the Bush airplanes don't really have the same problem with the controls other than the rudder. So I don't think I'm going to have to mess with anything beyond the jets, really. And I've only spent like 5 minutes flying the A320, so I don't really have a lot of experience in the jumbos. I can't really say if they work well or not. My passion here is flying these fun little small ones. I will do the big ones at some point, but knowing how many issues I'm already having controlling the planes, I don't need a bigger plane with bigger issues. I know they're not going to turn on a dime or do anything crazy, but still. And they have a lot more complex systems to try and figure out. Yeah. So we're still rolling all over the place, which is really agitating, especially when I deleted the wind layer. So that is a bug that they need to fix, because I don't have a weather wind layer right now. There is no wind. It's gone. So why am I having problems with wind? I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense. Alright, so we're coming down. We're gaining some of our speed back, but we'll bleed that off once we come down a little more. I'll drop the gear earlier before I make my approach turn, which will create some drag and should bleed off some of my speed. I am very pleased that the oscillation is gone, though. That does make this plane a lot more usable now, at least as far as autopilot goes. And if I can get the config files or something done to make the plane not pitch and roll all over the place. Well, it doesn't pitch anymore, but roll all over the place with the simplest little thing, that would be fantastic. Then I'd be able to actually fly this thing. Because right now I really can't do anything outside of autopilot, and by the time I get slow enough, you've seen the problems. So this plane should be maneuverable, but man, they gotta fix that sensitivity. I don't know if enough people haven't complained or what, but that is a problem. I'm curious why the plane's so far inside of the actual turning radius. Seems like the chart isn't quite as accurate to the GPS path I'm using. Alright, we are on our final leg. Whoa, hard rockin'. Yeah, that's what's got me worried. I wonder if I should add the wind layer back. Let's stick you way up in the clouds. Can I do that? Speed. Let's see what direction. I'm landing on 1.6. I that's 31, so let's do that. Let's do gusts from slightly there. Frequency 60 seconds, speed 50%. And we'll do 0.1 knot. So I just stuck this thing up there at 50,000 feet, and I'm still getting pummeled around down here on the ground. So yeah, I don't think the weather system works right at all. Okay, so we are coming up pretty quick here on the airport. It's there behind the pillar. I think, yep, my speed's coming down. I'm gonna drop a few more. I'm gonna plummet the speed when I drop my flap, so I gotta maintain my speed a little better than I did in the CJ4 again. I kinda crashed.
All Nippon 464 is missed approach at Tokyo.
Ooh, wow, missed approach. That's interesting.
All Nippon 464, you are 20 miles east. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect ILS X-ray runway tree 4 left approach via Kaiho transition. Clear to
Interesting.
Kaiho.
Okay, system just updated to my next one.
Maintain 1,500 feet.
You can hear I drop my gear. No, shoot.
Descend and maintain 1,500 feet. Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra. All Nippon 464, climb and maintain 4,000 feet.
There's the oscillation as we come down. Okay, we're getting pretty close here. I'm gonna drop my first layer of flaps. Okay, we just switched to green, which I believe means I'm on approach. So I'm gonna let this thing come around a little bit before I kick approach on.
Golf Sierra, you are 8 miles southeast of Tokyo. Contact Tokyo
Okay,
Tower on
engage
118.75
approach.
when inbound. Tower on 118.575
buddy.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
How far out are you going?
Tokyo Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray
Run.
Golf Sierra 7 miles southeast inbound ILS Yankee runway tree 4 right approach.
Okay,
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Tokyo Tower. Cleared ILS Yankee runway tree 4 right approach. Altimeter 29.9 in com.
there we go. I don't know why that didn't trigger earlier.
Sierra cleared to land runway tree 4 right. Follow the generic on short final. Wind com.
Okay, we are coming down. Wow,
Cleared
this
to
thing
land
is
runway tree 4
jerky.
right Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
I'm coming in a little bit fast, so I'm gonna reduce the speed, kick the next layer of flaps on.
Taxiway.
That's gonna really cut my speed down. I don't want to drop too fast. Wow, I have no idea where this plane is flying right now. And I am terrified of what this means for my landing. Dude, the runway's over there. Alright, so I'm gonna turn autopilot off. Wow, and immediately I'm thrown off course. Holy criminally, this thing is insane.
Sierra go around.
No. Holy crap. I took autopilot off and immediately the whole plane started pitching and rolling completely uncontrollably. So that feels like they made the weather respond worse. So that's unfortunately. Now approach got me pretty close, but it's still not quite there. It could just be this airport has high winds, but that's insane because I turned the wind off. I deleted the wind layer unless there's something I'm missing in that. That's garbage. So still another problem, still issues to deal with, but at least they did fix the oscillation. So kudos to them on that. I don't think I'm going to be flying that plane again for a little while. I just wanted to come back in, and I know I said that previously, but because they said they fixed the oscillation that I was complaining about, I wanted to give it a try just to give them a bit of the benefit of the doubt and see what was going on with it. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.